Hill Country region is for the first time making spotlight videos for our members with unique cars and members with more than one Porsche cars. We are here today with John and Bette in their Hill Country home. I will introduce you to them. And John, tell us how long you've been a member for and why Porsche?
Okay, well, I've been a member of the Porsche Club National PCA for over 40 years, and recently moved to the Hill Country 8 years ago, and I've been since then a member of the Hill Country Region Porsche Club, which has been wonderful for us. Porsche goes back, I would say, when I was a teenager. A friend of my stepfather's just finished medical school, and his parents gave him a brand new 911 or 356, and I fell in love with the little car.
Okay.
And it's kind of stuck with me since. I started my first air-cooled, the rear engine. These are all unique to me, with a VW Beetle. And I had, over the subsequent years, owned about 5 Beetles. And then I got into Porsches, and my first Porsche was a 914.
Okay.
Everyone had a 914, really wanted a 911, but it's what you could afford. It was a wonderful car. It was air-cooled, mid-engine. I had a great time with that. And then from that time on, which was in about 1976, I've owned 1 or 2 Porsches ever since.
So John, how many Porsches do you own currently?
I own 3 Porsches.
Okay, and which one are you showing us first?
We'll start with the 356C. This is a 1964. The 356 is the first Porsche production car to come out of Stuttgart.
Awesome.
This is the granddaddy of the Porsches, and it's due to the success of the 356 that the 911s and all subsequent Porsches and the company you see today has prospered and done so well.
Okay.
The 356 came out in 1948. They had some limited production models, but officially in 1955, the 356 became their primary model.
Okay.
There were 3 iterations, a 356A, a B, and a C. This is the C, which is the last. In 1964 was the 911s were already on the assembly line when this car was on the assembly line. They overlapped a little bit, and in 1965 ended the 356 era.
Awesome, let's see it.
Okay.
Here it is. Okay.
This is a 356C, as I mentioned earlier. It's the last iteration. The car has 54,000 miles on it. It was restored in 1995, and the paint job, interior, everything you see on this car dates from that time. It's a remarkable restoration. All original, everything matches as far as the serial numbers of the original engine, transmission, even the body parts have serial numbers on them, the wheels. So this is an exceptional find. I'll show you a little more of the car. The wheels are original. Everything, as I said earlier, is original, including the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was on this car that left the factory in 1964 is still on the car. The interior has been replaced, and the carpet. Okay, no. This is a 1.6 liter air-cooled flat 4. They originated originally in the 1930s, 40s with the Volkswagen. There's no resemblance to the Volkswagen engines anymore. It's very special to Porsche, the way it was designed, but the architecture being air-cooled and a flat 4. It produces 75 horsepower, has a 4-speed all-synchronous transmission, and the 356C was denoted for it had disc brakes. They were using drum brakes up until the 356C came out. But the the B and the C pretty much look alike as far as the body style.
What do you have next?
This is a 964, and explain what we're saying. This is a 911. The white car is a 356. The 356 was the only, you had the B and the C. Well, when they went to the 911, they started a lot of different names, and they were, and the first thing was a number. 964 was the number on the plans when they first started to design the car. And they put that number, it's like a job order number, and that sticks. They're not sequential. The Porsche 911 that followed this was a 993, so they're not sequential.
Okay.
But the 964 is primarily known as the beginning of Porsche's shift from the air-cooled to the water-cooled. And a lot of modern mechanicals are in this car, like ABS brakes, airbags. It had power steering, power brakes. It had different suspension than the 911s before it. It's a best car, in my opinion. When I bought a car like this, I have got a vintage Porsche body, but I've got all these modern mechanicals. It is so much easier to drive. The engine is a 3.6 liter flat six, and it's producing 247 horsepower, and the car is just the best all-around Porsche. If you're looking to own a Porsche, this is the one I would recommend if you want a vintage Porsche.
Okay.
This is a 911 2019. This is the last year for the 991 series. Remember I mentioned 964. Well, this is a 991, and 2019 was the last year for the 991. They upgraded these cars mid-year, so there would be a 991.1, 991.2. This is a 0.2. It has all the latest modifications and additions during that cycle of the 991 was incorporated in this car. Its model is a GTS, which stood for Gran Turismo, something or other, but that was the GTS. It's a special model. It has 450 horsepower. It's a water-cooled flat six. And this one has a transmission referred to as a PDK. It's a automatic stick shift. And the wheels, these are called center lock wheels. You notice there's no lug nuts on there, but one cogged wheel in the center. To remove the wheel, this had to be removed, and the whole wheel came off. The difficult part, it was torqued at 800 foot-pounds. and I mean Newton meters, and it was 450 foot-pounds. It took a special wrench, so that was a problem that some people face. If you broke down on the highway and you had to get the tire off, and you didn't have that tool, you were have to flatbed it to a Porsche dealer.
Okay, can we see the inside?
Yeah.
How long have you been member of the Hill Country Region PCA, and what do you like about the club the most?
I transferred from Houston, which was my residence for most of my life. When we moved to the Hill Country, north of Austin, where we live now, the Hill Country region, I became a member in 2016. I immediately loved the club. They have as most Porsche organizations, have a great bunch of people, great activities, a love for the cars, a love for the people that associated with the cars. It's just been a really great experience. So many activities, and it gives Betty and I lots of things to plan on during the year that as a Porsche event. And it's just been, as I said, a real great experience for us.
Okay. So John, any word of wisdom for new Porsche buyers or anybody looking to buy a Porsche right now?
Well, the first word of wisdom is do get a Porsche. You will not be disappointed as far as driving it, owning it. There's a tremendous experience with a Porsche that one doesn't seem to find in other cars. It's a very unique car. With that said, my collection really follows a plane of the first Porsche sports car with the 356. But bear in mind, these cars are now 60 years old or older, and one is faced with the mechanical issues that you will have with a car that old. I highly recommend anyone considering one of these to be knowledgeable of mechanics, because there's so many things you're going to have occur that you need to understand what's happening. This car is easy to work on if you're mechanically inclined, but again, you're living with a very old car, and it's totally enjoyable. They're very reliable, but the age is a factor. The 964 is 31 years old, but at the time that car came, this one is a 1993. The technology had been quite advanced compared to the 356. It does have a computer system in there that manages the fuel injection and other aspects. It has ABS brakes, it has power steering, it has a speed actuated spoiler. There's a lot of things that happen with the 964 that really was closing the gap between the water-cooled Porsche, which was on the table, design table, and about to come out. So these cars were leading up to the water-cooled as far as technology was being poured in the car, but they maintained the old style body, which is the old air-cooled 911 bodies. And this is from 1964 when this car was going out the door for the last time, and these were on the assembly line, to the water cooleds, which were in 1996. The last car is the 991.2, meaning it's the second iteration of the 991 series. It's a water cooled car. It's loaded with technology and electronics. It is the most foolproof car on. You will not worry about this car. It's just a modern designed, it's got everything that you would possibly want in a car. It's got driving systems that control the brake and anti-skid. You've got backup camera. You've got just an enormous amount of the latest and upgraded technology. This is a great car if you're getting in the Porsche to own. You don't need to do anything with it, and you can drive it every day. And this one has the automatic transmission, which is really not an automatic. It's an automatic stick shift, which is Porsche refers to as a PDK. It's wonderful. If you own one car, that's the one.
Okay. So John, thank you so much for having us today and showing us your cars. We are truly grateful to be here and looking forward to meeting you at our future events.
Well, it was a pleasure, and it was fun showing you the cars, and I hope everybody gains something about the appreciation for Porsches, the Porsche Club. It's a great adventure, and this is a good start to get a few ideas of what Arsh has shown you here. And thank you very much. Thank you for your patience in following this. And
yeah, thank you so much.